Welcome to Calendly series. In this first video, we will address the primary issue is how to create your event, what are events on Calendly, and how to optimize their usage. We will also look at how to make sure that your events are configured rightly for your team. So when you log into your Calendly account, the first thing that you see is these two different menus: home, availability, integrations, help, event types, scheduled events, workflows, and routing forms. So a lot of my clients ask me what are event types and how many of them I need. Can I just set up one event type, and does it mean that then I can't change it? So let's talk first about what are those event types. Event types are simply different types of meetings that you can personalize based on your needs. So one example would be the length of meeting. You know that some of your sales meetings can take 30 minutes, while others, if you are discussing or negotiating, can maybe take to 2 hours if all stakeholders are included. So that's why you would benefit from the fact that Calendly allows you to create unlimited type of events. So the length is just one example. Another example would be maybe you categorize events based on what you want to include in the description of event when you are trying to book meetings with different industry stakeholders. That's another example. So we can go on and on with examples, but event types and the fact that you can make unlimited of them on Calendly really benefits you to structure your sales process, to streamline, and just with one click share that specific event type based on the situation. So that's the event types. As you see on my Calendly, I have several of them already established. I usually have from 10 to 20, depending on the topics I'm covering and industries I'm working with. So that's where you start when you are setting up your Calendly. First, you consider your event types and you are clicking create if you want to create your first event type. Once you click button, you see three options: event type, one-off meeting, and meeting poll. So today what we are doing is we are creating so-called evergreen event type that will always be available on your account. So let's choose event type. More options. So that's where it gets very interesting and you see the potential of Calendly even further. You have one-to-one, you have group, collective, and round robin. So the first question that I usually hear is, if I choose one-to-one, does it mean that I always can have just one invitee? What if they decide to invite their colleague to the meeting? Is it possible? Yes. So all of my events are one-to-one, and sometimes I have 7 or 8 board members joining the meeting to discuss process and the contract and all other stuff that we are discussing just before project starts. So that's why I always choose one-to-one, because that is the easiest one to navigate. Now, round robin is for teams. So this is something that we will discuss in the future. But for the first lead generation event types, what you need is one-to-one. Not a group, not a collective, not a round robin, but one-to-one. So let's see what happens when we choose a one-to-one event. Okay, so first thing is we need to choose event name, location, description, and also personalize event link. Event name is often overlooked as opportunity to set specific expectations and to manage sales process much better. Usually my clients just rush into it and call event names 20 minutes meeting or meeting with the name of a sales rep. So what I suggest is taking just few minutes and looking at the resource that I added below in the description and considering specific types of events for different opportunities and just putting some thought into it. So in this case, I will call this event name Action Plan for Your Business. Okay? So as you see, it sets specific expectation. If you book this meeting, it means that at some point you will receive action plan for your business. So it's not just meeting about nothing. It's an actual value proposition, if you wish, that will benefit me. Okay, location. So location is not just graphical location. If you integrate apps, for example, Zoom, you can choose Zoom. I love it because it means that anyone who I invite through Calendly link, they receive that generated Zoom link automatically. I don't have to hunt them down to send Zoom link separately. They receive it automatically. Now, description and instructions. So this is something that, again, you should spend some time with. I always add to my Calendly event types descriptions that set specific expectations. I had clients show up just with mobile phone when we really had to screen share and discuss very critical things for the projects. So I started adding just instructions. Please make sure that you are ready for the meeting, that you are not distracted, there is no noise around you, because we'll be discussing really critical things about your business. And to get the value out of this meeting, you should be in front of the laptop with a strong internet connection. It helps. Trust me, it sounds really logical. It sounds like, why would you even write that? But I noticed that the quality of my meetings really increased when I just added those instructions. So this is something that will help you. Another thing is the cancellations policy or links to alternative event types. So a lot of people might land in this event type, but maybe some other event type is more relevant to them. So maybe they already received an action plan and you also have an event type that is actually goes after the action plan. So it could be the project discussion or the workshop or something else. So you can always include, if you already received an action plan, then you can, then please book this event. And you just add a link to that type of event. Now, event link is usually personalized based on event name that you added. You can still change it. I really like it because sometimes event name is one, but the event link is just too long. So you can always personalize it. So that is your first few steps setting up event type. So you have event type set up, but you still need to make sure that you set the range of times when you can accept meetings, schedules, and also all the timing details that are critical. This is very often overlooked. Again, take a few moments to make sure that it's perfect, that is flexible enough for you, for your client, and also that you can show up to those meetings. I have a lot of clients using Calendly, and this specific section is just so underused. Make sure to set it right. So let's do it now. Okay. The first question which is asked is usually about the date range. So it depends on your lifestyle, but I really like the first custom solution, which is 60 calendar days in the future. You can choose weekdays, excludes weekends, and only counts Monday and Friday. So I usually choose this one, but sometimes if it's a busy period, I always work on Saturdays. So I just simply choose calendar days. So 60 is a sweet spot for me because I really know what might happen in 60 days. But if it's indefinitely into the future, it scares me because I don't know what might happen. I don't manage yearly calendar for all my appointments. So for me, 60 days is excellent. Just think for a few moments about your lifestyle and choose the right duration. Now, the duration is for the event type. So it can be as long as 12 hours. As I said, that's the reason why you can set specific type of events and unlimited of them. So usually I choose 30 minutes, and you can choose custom. Sometimes it can be just 20-minute meeting, but because we chose event type action plan for your business, my guess that would be a bit longer. So let's choose 1.5 hours. Now, the schedules. So you can always play with your existing schedules that you set up on Calendly, or simply quickly set custom hours. So what I do is I set specific hours. For example, if I know that I'm working in Australia, I definitely need to wake up much earlier, and meetings are usually starting earlier. I choose these hours. What I like is that I don't have to go through each day and choose again. I click this button and I just do this. So it saves me a lot of time. Okay. So what we have now is we set the custom hours for that specific event. Now, this one, want to add times before or after your events. These are so-called buffer times that allows you to feel more comfortable about meeting taking a bit longer, or just having some briefing time after long events before coming to another long event. So if it's a 2 hours event, I usually choose around 30 minutes before event, and after event, I choose another 30 minutes. Okay, so because I need to prepare usually more thoroughly before that event, and after event, again, it depends. It can be on what is happening in your business. Maybe you're very busy and you will get a lot of meeting requests. You can do 15 minutes after event, but only if you know that event will definitely not take longer, because if it's already 15 minutes, you will not have a chance to go to run to the bathroom before jumping to another event. So think just slowly, don't rush into it. Okay. Now, always click additional rules for your availability. I don't know why they are additional. I think these are the most critical, especially scheduling conditions. That time increments simply represents the way your calendar is being shown. Is it being shown by availability every 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes? I found that most of my clients really like when it's every 15 minutes. Not every 30 minutes, but every 15 minutes. It just allows more flexibility. Now, scheduling conditions. Invitees can schedule the event. What does it mean? So let's say if this event is already live and I decide that I want to book you for the consultation, for a sales call, if this one is set to 0 hours, it means that if and you are available now, I literally can book you now and you have to show up. So this is crazy, isn't it? Because it could be that you are now shopping, you are now with your kids, and you need at least 2 hours to show up to that event. So depending again on how busy you are, how quickly you can show up to the event, and during those hours that you will be available for that event, make sure to be honest with you and yourself, and also think about the client so that you don't waste their time. Make sure that this one is definitely based on your lifestyle. Now, maximum allowed events per day for this type of event. This one usually applies for longer events like workshops where you know that you would die if you run 7 workshops per day. So again, always use that one too. Time zone display is critical to automatically detect and show the times in my invitee's time zone. So if you already booked any type of event of Calendly, or if you're already using Calendly, you know that it's always showing time based on the time zone. And I really like it because it never causes any problem. Okay, so that basically what you need to do to make sure that the question, when can people book this event, really works for you and for your clients. Your booking page is ready, but is your event type completed and optimized for your sales process? The answer is no. The next step is to go through invitee questions. Now, invitee question sounds like an easy thing to create, but remember that Calendly is usually integrated with your CRM, or you might want to integrate it with CRM. So that's when you start thinking about the questions that you might want to use for lead scoring or for preparation for meeting. So initially you have just these options: name, email, and just please share anything that will help prepare for our meetings, vague notes or vague requests. You can always add new question, and you have answer type. So one line is just simple text, multiple lines, a bit longer text. What I often use is radio buttons because you can select one answer, or checkboxes, one or many things. So the primary questions that are usually covered in Calendly events that are targeted for sales meetings, they cover such things as your business goals or your expectations or the problems that you need to solve. That already establishes some background that helps sales reps to prepare for the meeting. So the way you structure the question, of course, depends on your business style, but you can ask it, for example, how can we help you? Yes. And then you just add the answers. For example, I need help with marketing, I need help with social media, like all these services that you are providing, depending on industry and your business, or for example, brand. Yes. And you can always include other option. That's what I do. So you see, we already have something that might be working so much better for us, because we know then that if we will be talking about social media and you're the social media rep, you are good to go. But let's say if they choose branding, you might decide to include the sales team member who's working with branding too. So this is just an example. Another option would be, of course, to ask their company name. So this is one line, company name, and you can always change the arrangement of these questions. It's very easy. You are just taking it, clicking and dragging. And another one which usually applies to B2B is, of course, the role in company. Are you talking to the owner? Are you talking to revenue officer? Are you talking to operations manager? These questions are really helpful and easy to add. So once you're happy with those invitee questions, you click Save and Close. Just make sure that the invitee questions and the way they are structured, they also are similar to the structure that you have in the CRM. Of course, if you are still working without CRM with Excel sheet, it does not apply. But what we do at Process Natives, we make sure that all the questions you are asking, from lead generation to lead intake to lead scoring to the data structure should always be matching. It doesn't have to be exactly the same answer, because we can still use formatting on Zapier through Zaps, but still the idea about the number of options and also the structure of questions, it needs to stay consistent in your company. So the final thing is notifications and cancellations policy. We will not be discussing workflows in this tutorial. I am preparing separate workflows in Calendly YouTube video just because there's so many things I want to cover. Workflows have been working really well for me and for my clients. So I really want to have a separate video on it. So make sure to subscribe not to miss it. Let's now look after the invitee questions to the notifications and cancellations policy. Okay. So you can personalize that calendar invitation that they receive, okay? And the calendar invitation can be just simply event type, event description, location, questions and answers, but you can always add different variables. So for example, if you don't want to include specific questions and answers that they answer to you, you don't want to save those, then you can just simply delete that variable. So variables are simply the information about that event type that you can use in the calendar invitation. Email reminders, email follow-ups, text reminders. I don't usually use these because the email follow-ups are done on different software, but this is nice to have, and you can always click on and just simply personalize that email follow-up. If they attended the event, they would receive a very specific email. I like to send it usually from my own domain, so that's why I don't use it here. But the main thing is the text reminders, yeah? The text reminders is simply something that you can personalize again, and you can add different types of reminders. Now, I want to warn that text reminders and workflows are two different things. So if you want your leads and customers to receive those text reminders, I will also cover them in workflows and how to do it right. I will look at different channels, different ways, different timings, and just explain the most optimized way of doing it. And the cancellation policy, include cancel and reschedule links in notification. So cancellation policy is usually required not so much for leads, but maybe for clients that already paid for your consultation. So you can simply include, is it refundable event? If it's not refundable event, if you have canceled, are you going to receive your deposit? What is basically happening in the cancellation scenario? So that is it for the notifications and cancellations policy. Great. So we almost have fully completed an optimized event. The final thing is the confirmations page. Okay. So Calendly has its own confirmation page where it lets your leads know that they actually booked the event. But a nice thing is that you can always redirect to an external site and have your own notification landing page. So what I usually suggest for clients that have a very complex sales funnel with many options, many lead map, maybe sales enablement material, to create a landing page for booking confirmation where clients could explore extra material that you might offer. It could be presentation, it could be even upsell that they might want to consider before meeting with you. So we always analyze what are the options for the confirmation page, and it's definitely not just Calendly's confirmation page. This one is the fastest one. This one that I'm just using because I optimized my sales funnel so that it's as easy as possible for both me, my team, and also the client. But if you are offering many different kinds of services, products, and are interested in engaging your clients more, we can always explore this redirect URL option and a landing page specifically for that purpose.